Radiant greetings to the relentless heart that still beats beneath pressure that would have crushed lesser souls. The kind of greeting reserved only for those rare individuals who walk into storms as if they were stepping onto their rightful stage. The kind of person who hears the world whisper, "You cannot," and answers with a calm, steady breath that says, "Watch me." This moment is for you because you are not here by accident. You are here because something inside you refused to die even when everything tried to bury it, and the fire within you has dragged you forward to hear these words. They spent months building a trap. They whispered in corners, they calculated, they predicted, they planned long nights and longer schemes. They crafted illusions, they set up everything they thought would break you. They laid down shadows to hide the truth. They convinced themselves you would fall as expected. They crafted a cage shaped perfectly for the version of you they believed in, the old version, the weaker version, the one they assumed still existed. But when you walked in, you did not tremble, you did not collapse, you did not run. You smiled that quiet, unstoppable smile, and in that moment the trap they built became the moment they lost control. Because nothing terrifies those who doubt you more than seeing you unshaken inside the very place they designed to destroy you. They waited for your fear. They waited for your hesitation. They waited for cracks in your voice and cracks in your spirit. But all they found was someone who had already faced deeper darkness, someone who had already endured the kind of weight that turns a person either into rubble or into an unmovable force. You didn't walk into their trap unprepared. You walked in forged by every challenge that came before you, and the trap was never strong enough to hold someone who already learned how to break through much bigger walls. They laid out the bait, hoping your hunger for validation or comfort or easy paths would lure you in. They thought you would reach blindly. They thought you would bite down without thinking. But what they forgot is that you have learned the taste of your own resilience. You have learned how to separate what nourishes your future from what poisons your peace. So you took their bait, not out of ignorance but out of understanding. You ate it and spit out their bones, leaving nothing behind but a reminder that you are not someone who can be manipulated by shadows wearing masks. They underestimated the intelligence in your silence, the patience in your movement, the power in your calm. There are people in this world who work harder on holding you down than they work on lifting themselves up. They create obstacles, not because you are weak, but because they fear what you become when you rise. And every time they set a trap, they reveal more about themselves than about you. They reveal their limitations, their insecurities, their fear that you might become something they can no longer predict, something they can no longer control. And when you walk confidently through their barriers, it forces them to confront an uncomfortable truth. They were never truly fighting your past. They were fighting the version of you they feared you would grow into. Let the world watch how you evolve. Let them see how you stand, even when your knees shake. Let them see how you move forward, even when every step hurts, because the power is not in appearing invincible. The power is in choosing to rise again when you have every reason not to. That is where your strength lives. That is where your identity forms. In the quiet moments when you remind yourself that no trap, no scheme, no illusion is stronger than the fire carved through persistence, discipline, and self-belief. There will always be traps constructed by doubt, by jealousy, by fear, by those who cannot build. So they prefer to break. But darkness is something you no longer fear. Darkness is something you learn to see through, because you discovered that once your inner world becomes unshakably bright, no outer shadow can drown you. You became your own torch, your own shield, your own force, and the world cannot remove what they did not give you. Your strength is yours because you earned it piece by piece, moment by moment. battle by battle. When you walked into their trap smiling, it wasn't arrogance, it was awareness. Awareness that sometimes stepping into the place designed to stop you is the only way to prove that nothing designed against you can defeat what is designed within you. Your purpose is not fragile. Your mission is not temporary. Your energy is not accidental. Your path is not dependent on someone else's permission. You are moving because you are meant to move. You are rising because you were built to rise, and you are overcoming, not because it is easy, but because your spirit refuses anything less. Your journey is not for those faint-hearted spectators waiting eagerly to see you fall. Your journey is for the part of you that has been clawing toward the light for years, the version of you that endured nights of silence when no one knew what you were fighting, the version of you that stayed up searching for answers, searching for strength, searching for direction, the version of you that decided to keep going. Even when nothing made sense, that is who you honor every time you rise. That is who you carry with you every time you step into a challenge and smile. They wanted your defeat, but what they created instead was your awakening. They wanted your fear, but what they witnessed was your evolution. They wanted your weakness, but you transformed the pressure into a foundation. You now stand on proudly. You owe no explanation for your resilience. Your survival is your statement. Your progress is your reply. Your existence in the face of every attempt to diminish you is already the victory they never wanted you to have. Every trap becomes a stepping stone when the soul walking through it refuses to break. Every barrier becomes a lesson when the mind facing air refuses to surrender. Every betrayal becomes a sharpened instinct. Every lie becomes a refined perception. Every loss becomes a deeper wisdom, and every moment they tried to bury you became the soil from which you grew. Unstoppable. You are not done, not even close. Your story is only beginning, and the world will see chapters from you that they never expected, because you are no longer built from the fragile hopes of yesterday. You are constructed from the battles you survived, the storms you endured, the nights you conquered, and the traps you walked through with a smile. And now you rise, not quietly, but unmistakably, not timidly, but with intention, not fearfully, but with certainty. Their trap was not your ending. It was your ignition. Their plans were not your downfall. They were your awakening. And every step forward from this moment is a reminder that you are stronger than what tried to break you, wiser than what tried to deceive you, and more powerful than anything built against you, because you are the force that turns their schemes into your victories, their bait into your nourishment, their doubt into your ascent. You walk now with a different presence, the presence of someone who has seen the darkest corners of human intention and still chooses to stand tall, the presence of someone who no longer needs approval to move, the presence of someone who writes their own destiny instead of waiting for others to define it for them, the presence of someone who knows that being underestimated is not an insult. It is an advantage, and you have mastered the art of turning that advantage into momentum. Carry this fire forward. Let it burn through. Hesitation. Let it melt away. The fear of being misunderstood. Let it illuminate every step you take when the world expects you to fall, and let it remind you that you were never meant to blend into the background. You were meant to rise through every design meant to restrain you. You were meant to walk boldly into the traps and leave as someone unshaken, unbroken, unclaimed by defeat. You came not to survive their plans, you came to transform them, and you did. You walked in, smiled, and made it theirs. You turned every calculated moment into your own narrative. You converted every attempt to limit you into fuel that expands you. You took the bait, not as a victim, but as a strategist. And when you spit out their bones, you reminded the world that your spirit cannot be swallowed, your will cannot be bent, and your destiny cannot be rewritten by hands that were never strong enough to carry what you carry. This is your rise. This is your turning point. This is your moment to stand at the center of everything that once tried to break you and say with unwavering silence that nothing built against you has ever won. Nothing built against you ever will. And the world now watches, not because they doubt you, but because deep down they know they were never prepared for your transformation. You have become the storm that they feared the light. They cannot dim the strength they cannot measure and the force they can no longer predict. This is you stepping into who you were, always meant to be, unshaken, untamed, undeniable. You stand now in the aftermath of every doubt they ever placed on your shoulders, and yet you do not look exhausted. You do not look defeated. You do not look shaken. Instead, you look like someone who finally understands the depth of their own strength, someone who has discovered that every challenge was not a barrier, but a mirror, reflecting what you were always capable of, but never allowed yourself to see until now. And in this new clarity, you realize that the people who set traps for you were never your true opposition. Your real battle was always with the limits you once believed about yourself, limits that shattered the moment you walked into their plans and walked out, transformed. They thought the weight of their intentions would collapse your will, but you learned how to stand beneath pressures that would flatten most souls. You learned that pressure is not punishment. Pressure is polishing, and every ounce of heaviness they placed upon your path carved you sharper, more focused, more awake. You learned that every attempt to hold you back taught you how to climb without footholds, how to breathe without reassurance, how to advance without applause. They were unknowingly training the very power they hoped you wouldn't discover within yourself. Now you move with a calm determination that unsettles the world around you, because people expect loudness from strength. They expect fury. They expect noise. But the strongest individuals are often the quiet ones, not because they lack emotion, but because they have mastered it, mastered the storms inside them, mastered the chaos, mastered the doubt, mastered the uncertainty. You have become someone who does not need to announce their comeback because your presence alone tells the story. Your resilience speaks louder than any declaration ever could. There will be moments ahead where you will feel echoes of the past, where shadows of old traps may try to reach for you again. But this time, you are different. You are awake. You are aware. You are strengthened by experience and guided by wisdom, gained from walking through darkness that once frightened you, but now empowers you. You will recognize the signs long before they appear. You will see the bait before it is even laid. You will sense the intention behind smiles that do not match the eyes. And you will walk forward, protected not by walls but by understanding. Your past has become your armor, not in a hardened way, but in a wise way. You no longer rush into situations seeking approval or validation, because you have learned that the people who matter do not need you to shrink, and the people who want you to shrink do not matter. You no longer chase after doors that close because you have outgrown the spaces behind them, and you no longer fear the unknown because you understand that everything unfamiliar is simply a future waiting for your arrival. What once wounded you now strengthens you. What once confused you now guides you. What once tried to silence you now amplifies you. The traps they built were supposed to be endings, but they became beginnings because every time the world tried to stop you, it accidentally shaped you into someone too resilient to be contained by the plans of others. They created barriers, but you turned them into paths. They created illusions, but you saw through them. They created pressure, but you turned it into power. Take a moment now to acknowledge how far you have come, not with pride that screams, but with pride that breathes, a steady quiet. Pride that says you endured, you learned, you transformed, you rose, not because someone rescued you, but because you taught yourself how to rise. You pulled yourself from places that tried to bury you, and you walked forward carrying nothing but determination and the memory of who you promised yourself you would become. You owe it to yourself now to walk with the certainty you have earned. You owe it to yourself to let your past be a reference, not a residence. You owe it to yourself to expand into the future without apology. Because your growth is not an accident, it is not a coincidence, it is the direct result of your courage, your perseverance, your refusal to be defined by harm designed by others. And as you continue beyond this moment, people will watch you with new eyes, some with admiration, some with confusion, some with envy, and some with silent fear, because they will wonder how you rebuilt yourself when everything around you expected you to fall. They will wonder how you kept going when they thought you would stop. They will wonder how the person they once underestimated became the person they now cannot ignore. You will become a reminder to them that the human spirit, when committed to rising, is impossible to suppress. You do not need to prove anything anymore. Your existence is the proof. Your resilience is the proof. Your progress is the proof. Your calm confidence is the proof. And the more you move forward with strength, the more their questions will grow. Their disbelief will deepen. Their assumptions will crumble. Because your journey defies everything they predicted, and you are not slowing down. You are just beginning. You are stepping into a chapter governed not by fear, but by intention, not by hesitation, but by conviction, not by survival, but by expansion. You are no longer fighting for space. You are creating it. You are no longer waiting for the right moment. You are becoming it. You are no longer shaped by what was done to you. You are shaped by who you decided to be after everything tried to limit you. This new version of you does not walk with heaviness. This version walks with power, a power earned in silence, earned in struggle, earned in nights where you held yourself together piece by piece when no one else even knew you were breaking. And it is that power, not luck, not chance, not coincidence, that will carry you into the life you were always meant to build, a life where your strength is not questioned, but honored, where your capacity is not doubted, but respected, where your spirit is not trapped by the expectations of others, but liberated by the truth of who you have become. And so continue forward with the confidence of someone who has seen what lies behind the masks of fear. Continue forward, knowing that every step you take is no longer a reaction to the past, but a declaration of your future. Continue forward because the world needs the version of you who is no longer shrinking, the version who is no longer hiding, the version who can turn every attempt to stop you into fuel and every attempt to limit you into clarity. You have become the storm they thought would swallow you. You have become the fire they thought would burn out. You have become the strength they thought would collapse you. You have become the story they never expected to unfold. And now the world must adapt to the truth of who you are, because you are no longer walking into traps. You are walking into destiny, and destiny does not fear darkness. It transforms it. You stand now on a new threshold, one built not by chance, but by the depth of your endurance, and the countless moments where you refused to collapse, even when everything in you felt heavy. You stand here because you learned that the world does not always offer gentle hands and supportive echoes. Sometimes it offers silence, sometimes it offers resistance, and sometimes it offers traps carved from the doubts of others. Yet every single time you are met with adversity, you rose, you expanded, you adapted, You reshaped yourself into someone capable of moving beyond every boundary that once felt immovable. There is a rare kind of strength inside you that even you did not fully understand until life forced you to uncover it. A strength that reveals itself only when everything familiar falls apart. A strength that does not come from comfort, but from surviving the uncomfortable. A strength that does not come from ease, but from conquering the difficult. And now that this strength has awakened within you, it cannot be undone. It cannot be dimmed. It cannot be taken away because it belongs to you, completely shaped by your experiences and sculpted by your choices. As you walk forward, you will notice how differently you move. Now, how differently you think, how differently you breathe. You no longer rush. You no longer chase after people who do not value your presence. You no longer bend yourself in hope of fitting into spaces that were never meant to hold you. You walk with purpose, and when a door closes, you do not panic because you finally understand that some doors are not meant to open for you, not because you are unworthy, but because your future is too vast to be contained by narrow frames built by smaller visions. People who once underestimated you will begin to watch you, not with the same dismissiveness, but with a quiet and uneasy respect, because they will sense something has changed. They may not understand it, but they will feel it. The way your presence steadies a room, the way your silence carries more weight than their noise, the way you no longer react out of fear, but respond out of wisdom. They will sense that you have reached a place within yourself where their opinions no longer define your direction. And once a person reaches that place, they become impossible to control and impossible to diminish. You are learning now that the world does not always need to understand you for you to continue rising. Your purpose does not need validation. Your vision does not require applause. Your progress does not rely on agreement. You are guided by an internal compass that is sharper than ever, a compass that has been shaped by darkness, but points toward light, a compass that leads you not where others think you should go, but where your spirit knows you belong. And with this clarity comes a peace that cannot be fabricated, a peace that does not depend on circumstances, a peace that remains steady even when the world becomes loud, because you finally trust yourself. You trust your ability to discern, your ability to choose, your ability to overcome. You trust your own voice more than the noise around you, and that trust becomes your anchor, your strength, your foundation, your quiet, unbreakable center. There will be days ahead when old memories rise, whispers of moments when you felt lost or powerless, but those memories no longer hold the ability to weaken you. Instead, they remind you of how far you have come. They remind you of the person you once were and the person you fought to become. They remind you that the version of you standing here today was formed through perseverance and shaped through truth, and that every pain you carried eventually evolved into wisdom, every hardship into courage, every doubt into direction. You no longer move with desperation, you move with intention. You no longer seek permission to exist. You claim your space simply by being you. No longer hide the depth of your strength. You allow it.